Okay, so I've been asked a lot about feeding. Of course, I feed regular seed, and I buy different kinds of seed all the time because they all have slightly different mixes. But one of the things that I do is I supplement with, I call this baby food, because it's made out of baby food. This is pureed carrots. So what I do is I take a few things of Gerber baby food. That's good enough for human babies. It's good enough for parakeets. And this way I don't have to worry about, doing all of the shredding and pureeing and all that kind of stuff. It's already done for me. Time is of the essence. So anyway, I'm going to take about 4 of these. Now, this is really powerful stuff. By the time I'm done with it, it's a thing that if I give it to the birds too often, the females will start laying, even when they're not, when they're out in the flight cage instead of in a nest box. So I have to, I give this to them once a week, and it's basically a nutrient booster. So, yeah, so here, let me get my last one open here. So I take 4, I think these little things are like 4 ounces, maybe 6. 4 little Gerber baby food containers in there. And it's, again, pureed carrots, okay? So that has all the good stuff that carrots has in it, plus a few additives that Gerber puts in it. And then I add to it this. This is yellow egg food, okay? It has in it, the thing that makes it yellow is its dried egg yolk. So it has a huge amount of fat in it, which birds need. It also has all the electrolytes in it, minerals, calcium, and all that sort of thing. And a few different seeds and stuff like that. So I'm going to take 1/3 of a cup and sprinkle it in there. And stir it in really good. Now this stuff is, like I said, it's really potent. You do not need to give this to birds that are not laying more than once a week, maybe even once every 2 weeks. It's just like I said, a nutritional booster that kind of fills in some of the gaps that the regular seed and green leaf lettuce diet might miss. So I stir that in, right? But that's not all I put in there. Yeah, another thing that I put in is Probiotic Plus. This is a probiotic. It's good for their little guts. It doesn't take much. If anybody gets a cold or the flu, the probiotics, having a good, healthy gut fauna it just keeps their immune system up. So I stir in 1/8 of a teaspoon of that. That's like 1/4 of a teaspoon to a quart of water, so 1/8 of a teaspoon is more than enough. And of course the bacteria in it, like the damp that's in from the wet food. So I'm going to stir that all around and make sure it gets in there good. And then birds need carbohydrates too. Seeds have a lot of fat in them and a lot of protein in them. And complex carbohydrates, but it doesn't hurt for them to just have regular carbohydrates, fresh fruit and things like that. So this is rolled oats. 1, 2 scoops. Let's see what kind of texture I get out of that. I'm more about texture on the oats. The oats do end up soaking up some of a lot of the moisture, so it makes the mixture a little less watery, and the birds tend to like it that way. So I usually add just about a level scoop per container of baby food that I put into it. So that adds up to 4 right there. I couldn't even tell you how much that is, but you kind of get a feel for it, and there's no magical formula. So just kind of make it a little less watery. Give them something to hang on to, and they do like to eat the oats, and they're very high in carbohydrates, and actually rolled oats have a significant amount of protein in them as well. And then the last thing I put in is Millet. This is millet right off of a millet spray. I just crumbled it into the bowl, and then it gets a bunch of chaff in it that covers each of the seeds. But when you crumble it into the bowl, it all comes off, so you can just blow on it, and the chaff comes flying out. Do it outside, or you'll make a huge mess. So they don't really need this as part of this nutritional booster, but I have a whole bunch of birds from different places, and none of them had ever seen this stuff before, and it takes a while, especially for an older adult bird, to learn to accept new dietary ingredients. So I put the millet in and stir it in because it tempts them. So right now I have about probably 2/3 to 3/4 of my birds have decided that they really like this stuff, which is good, because when you really want to start feeding them this to them on a regular basis, say every second day instead of once a week, is when they have chicks in the nest or when the hens are laying eggs. You want to give this to them more often, and if you got a hen that won't eat it because it looks like a foreign food, then you can mix away and do fancy stuff all you want to, and it's not going to do her any good. So you have to give it to them on a regular basis, say once a week, especially out in the flight, where they'll be around other birds that will eat it, and they'll see, oh, that's food, and they'll learn to eat it before they get into the breeding cages. So that's one of the things that I call that my baby food or my wet food. And like I said, when they're not breeding once a week, maybe even once every second week, as just a dietary booster. When they are laying or raising babies, I'll go up to as much as once every second or third day. Okay, that's it.